Welcome to Chatter, no frills tech briefings with the top 5 stories of the day. Today we talk about your AI coworkers, Meta stopping fact-checking, the Mars mission, AI in SaaS, and inflation. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And our first topic is, will AI outperform you in 2025? The rise of AI artificial intelligence enables problem solving at scale. And according to a paper from IESE Business School, some groups benefit more from AI than others. I think the common belief today is that AI is a big leveler of the playing field. So everyone now has the same chance. Even low experienced, low skilled workers can use AI to produce meaningful output. But what the paper argues is that because high experienced people or high skilled people, they create feedback loops. When they're producing output, it gets really done really fast and they can see from the output if it's correct or not. For example, someone who's a coder who's using AI to generate code, a low skilled worker, they would just accept whatever AI is suggesting with no clear vision if that is, or clear opinion, if that is high quality code, low quality code, if it will work in production, if it will work with other pieces within the code base. Whereas the high skilled worker will know all these things. They will be able to revise some of those things right away, and they will get to a finished product faster, getting to the next view stage faster, getting more feedback, and from that will be even learning more than the low skilled worker. So the gap between the two becomes even more meaningful. And specifically what the paper is focusing on, that because now the high performer or the high experienced worker, they're doing routine tasks that they previously maybe outsourced to the junior talent to mentor them, to train them, they're now doing it through AI. The junior people might lack learning opportunities specifically. So it's interesting when you think about AI is making the world fairer to some extent, that still, according to this paper, and I must admit, I certainly agree, that AI is specifically helping the top performers, the high experience, the people who actually know what they're doing the most, because they can use or leverage the advantage that they have in a certain field, be it a certain skill, certain expertise, certain knowledge, just much far quicker, far more, with a far more wider reach than before using AI. Next up, and this topic stirred a lot of rumor, a lot of news across the globe, I would say. Meta joins X in stopping fact-checking. Meta's new community node system will phase out fact-checkers over the next few months. You couldn't imagine this topic to come up a year ago, 2 years ago, but now with the incoming administration, there's obviously a lot of headwind for freedom of speech, with the Republicans embracing such an approach. So since the Republicans felt disadvantaged in the past by social media because they felt censored more than others, now with the incoming administration, obviously Mark Zuckerberg is playing ball to some extent and allowing them a little bit of leeway. So he admitted that fact checkers have just been too politically biased, in his own words. And now, I think the interesting aspect of the story is that Meta actually doesn't have an opinion how their content should be moderated, but they're swimming with the political storm. Maybe they have an opinion, but at the end of the day, they have an extremely addictive product that might be, or is, very harmful to young individuals, to many people. And the government could be the ultimate opponent, right? They could just prohibit the use of social media, just like some countries like Australia have done for minors, for example. And so it's in their best interest to keep politically aligned, to avoid that long-tail risk of being banned. So it makes sense for them. And I'm less surprised by the decision. I think if you have read the tea leaves over the last few months before the election of what Mark Zuckerberg said, but also his peers like Jeff Bezos in his newspaper, that an action like this was coming. And so I'm more surprised about now the outcry and the reaction of it. But we'll see how this develops, given that X sort of was the first and got shut down by a lot of advertisers. It will be now interesting to see if a same or similar reaction happens now on Meta. Obviously, if you already cut out X and you cut out Meta, then there's not many advertising channels left. So the real winner might be Google, although the impact is to be seen. Next, let's talk about the universe. We want cheaper rocks from Mars. NASA's revised Mars sample return options could cut costs from 6 to 7 billion from up to 11 billion prior. So this huge cost reduction is obviously after the organization felt a lot of criticism regarding their plans to return samples from Mars. And so the initial plan was very expensive and also took a very long time. And so what now in the last few weeks and months came up more and more is that instead of developing a lot of their stuff by themselves, they should find commercial partners, just as they have done with SpaceX, for instance, for some of their missions, to maybe find superior technology, faster technology, cheaper technology. And what I think interesting is that now obviously with the new administration and Isaacman, so a new person taking over NASA, he is an experienced businessman first. He's not a NASA homegrown talent. He will be looking for return on investment or return on scientific insights when he's making these decisions. So I'm expecting more rigor for financial decisions. So it only makes sense that now the outgoing administration is already setting that up or putting that in motion. But obviously with the new administration coming in early this year, they have to take a lot of decisions. So hopefully the materials are ready. Obviously every month, every year that passes without taking a decision, without building technologies is going to be extremely impactful and is going to delay the mission even further. So with that being said, let's jump on to the next one. Will AI be the golden ticket for SaaS in 2025? SaaS companies got efficient over the past 2 years and now having room to invest. That's the argument that SaaS legend Jason Lemkin is making, and he's basically saying that even the companies that have very, I would say, low product market fit or AI products in their initial stage, in maybe discovery, pilot, have not scaled AI products that much, they're already rewarded from shareholders. So we have seen in the SaaS market that companies that sort of have an AI angle in the market have been outperforming the stock market by quite a bit. And so he's very bullish that now these companies that are going in this direction, they're getting rewarded, meaning they have more capital available, they can invest more, and he sees that as a flywheel that could play out this year. I would just caution, that was our only punchline, that more budget doesn't mean better products. So there still needs to be scrutiny around return on investment and what actually makes sense and what is not just a marketing ploy to get more capital by saying we do something with AI, even though there might be no product market fit down the line. Next up, why are people sus about inflation? So this was an interesting article from Robert Shiller, one of the greatest economics of all time. And he said 74% of people link inflation to lower living standards. And this, I would say, is maybe the story that played out in the last election cycle, given that I think the graphic that stuck with me quite a bit is people feel bad about the economy depending on who's in charge. So if your party is in charge, people feel good about the economy, and vice versa. If they are not, you feel bad about the economy. And why is that? Usually people say, well, the median salary has increased, let's say from 50 to 60 bucks, and that is great. The economy is doing great. But still, median salary means that over 50% or 50% of people are below that standard. And those people are going to feel, well, they're not going to feel very positive about the fact that they're making maybe below average, below median salary. They feel disadvantaged, specifically, let's say the bottom third. And there's going to be an outcry. And so if I didn't get a raise and I read in the newspaper the economy is doing great, GDP grew more than last year, like I couldn't care less, right? So I think this is just a harsh look at reality, that whenever we talk about averages, the average actually doesn't represent a single person. It's just an aggregate of multiple people. So to have meaningful insights, we always have to go down to cohorts and see which cohorts make how much, let's say, wage growth, or are struggling with their specific prices, to get a reflection on what's actually going on in our society, and find these cohorts where the barrel is now overflowing. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. See you in the next one.